Just thinking about going.
It's time. Get your computer working.
We're gonna start this over real quick. All right, we are live, I think. Yes, we're live.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order of the City of Kearney Park and Tree Board, Thursday, January 18th, 2024. Eric, have you taken roll?
I have. Everyone is present except Ali Jorn.
And has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? Anybody have any comments or questions about them? Have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the minutes.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes are approved. Public requests and petitions.
We have none for tonight.
All right. Proposed budget.
Tuesday evening, the Board of Aldermen got a brief summarization of the upcoming board that they will be examining at their next Board of Aldermen meeting. It was a summarization of what will be expected when they come and do a very in-depth, probably be about a 2-hour meeting. Our park department budget is included in the City of Kearney's budget, as you all know. And I wanted to talk about some of the highlights of our budget requests that we hope will be approved by the Board of Aldermen. It would be the last meeting in February, I do believe. I want to just touch base just a little bit with everyone cutting the cord on cable. We receive cable franchise fees, and we will lose out of our park budget $12,000 in revenue just from that. Also, what happened this last year during one of the storms, one of the billboards that's located out by McPorter Park blew down in a storm, and state law now from Missouri, once a billboard is taken down, destroyed, whatever, they cannot be put up along the interstates. So that's a $5,000 rental that we receive money in the park fund itself.
$5,000 a year or a month?
$5,000 a year.
Okay.
So for next year, just those two losses were down $12,000 in revenue. A couple of things want to talk about, and Ryan will chime in on this as well. Our scholarships, we're thinking about doing something, setting up a scholarship, something like what we did for the youth, for the seniors, because we subsidize the senior trips that we take. It's a great program. We don't want to cut it, but we've got to find a way, especially now with extra revenue cut, how we can do that and continue to keep our senior trips. As of 12/31 of 2023, our senior trips expenditures were $8,455, and our revenues are $6,360. It's always been a subsidy from the City of Kearney to help, because the seniors are on a fixed income, and it's been like that ever since I got here. And again, when Ryan took over, this, the park fund helped subsidize those trips because they're expensive, and they pay for their ticket to go down there, and the bus is included, and they take nice buses because they're elderly people, and they need to ride down in comfort. That's something we don't want to skimp on. So right now, we're in a deficit of $2,095 right now, and we have 3 more trips planned. Because it's not on a fiscal year, it goes on a different year, basically on their years.
It goes on seasonal.
On a seasonal.
August to August, basically.
So after this year, there's 3 more shows left on our season ticket series that Ryan does. And so if revenues to expenditures hold true, basically what it is, the city will fund $3,667 just for the 1 year to help subsidize that. And I don't know if you've ever been known about that, but it's something it's near and dear to our heart for the seniors, but we need to find out. We have to raise fees in other programs, and I'll talk a little bit on some other things to help try and recoup some money.
How many trips a year do we do?
7. This year was 7, correct?
In a calendar year, about 6 or 7. Yeah.
Is it normally 5 though?
This year, I know Ryan, I talked with him and he said we've done 4 and there's 3 more after the first of the year. That gets us up to when we start advertising, when they start letting us know what the season shows are gonna be.
It really depends on what their last show and their first show is. Sometimes their last show, it's just kind of their big marquee show for the season. They let it run a little longer, so they don't get started till later with the next season. So it just really depends on what the theaters end up doing.
I was unaware of any of these senior trips. Where are you taking them? What shows?
Down to New Theater Restaurant. And it's, go ahead, Ryan.
It's in Overland Park. It's a dinner theater. Get on the bus, go down, eat lunch, watch a show, come back.
If the city of Kearney did not subsidize the trips and you actually charge the seniors for what it's costing, how do you feel the attendance would be?
Not good at all.
Not good at all.
It'd be over $100.
And the thing of it is, with that, Ryan has already raised prices and we've heard feedback on it. You know, they're on a fixed income. And it's a program that, like I said, we like it. It's been a program for 20 plus years, ever since it was here before I was here. And it's just something that if we can try and do some scholarships and let people know about that as well, because our other scholarships, and we would do it as just a proprietary fund just for that as well. Ryan and I have talked about possibly seeing if we can do a fundraiser for a pickleball tournament and, you know, something. And we're gonna talk to you about fees coming up for the shelter reservations because those need to be raised. So that's coming down the pipe when we talk later on down the road. But does like the Gladstone Community Center that does like a lot of senior stuff, do they subsidize through with their tax dollars, or do you know?
Most of the programs are subsidized.
Most of them are
from
subsidized?
the other groups we've talked to.
Okay.
To some extent. I mean, how much depends on, you know, places like that are a little larger, like Liberty, will have a little bit of an advantage because they have their own buses. So that's gonna take some cost out of it. But, you know, you also have the cost of maintaining those buses and fuel and stuff as well.
What's the attendance on that? How many we got going roughly?
Between 25 and 40.
Oh, that's
Depends.
Is
Where are you
it,
marketing it?
Basically strictly senior center and newspaper.
Okay.
is it possible to use the buses that are being used for the senior center and the firehouse and all
It's
that?
not big enough.
Yeah,
They're gonna hold like 12 people.
yeah, they're not big enough.
Don't we have 2 and we're getting a 3rd?
They have 2, well, they have 2, and they're getting a 3rd, and they're being used.
Okay, so they wouldn't be available to.
So they're
do
using
that.
it for after school stuff and stuff like that, and we are not back by then. So
Okay,
we generally don't get to roll back into town till around 4:30, 5 o'clock.
they take off from McWhorter Park
About
at 10 o'clock
Yeah.
and back, you know, Ryan will roll in about 4:30, 4:45 on the trips. So.
okay.
We're committed to make it work somehow through sponsorship or something.
Well, that week that the senior center was closed and they asked the community for donations of food and transportation, all that, to deliver meals, that seemed to be
Went over well.
yeah, everyone like jumped
Yeah.
on it to help out, so maybe this will be the same kind of deal.
We hope so,
I think,
and that's what we're looking forward to.
My gut tells me that a corporate sponsorship will be the most successful thing for this.
That's what I was gonna say, if we could do that and then advertise, this one is being,
Sponsored by.
yeah,
Help
Price
funded by.
Chopper or whatever.
Mhm.
Right, so that's, hopefully what we're gonna try to figure out a way to do that. So,
It'd be nice if it could be income-based too, because I know, not everybody, not all seniors are living, below poverty or whatever. So, if it could be income-based, or if there could be some type of incentive, much like No Child Left Behind with the youth sports, there may be some local, there are some people that could do local sponsorships as well.
Moving on, in our capital outlay fund, some of the things that we're excited about if the budget is approved, we're actually going to be getting some soccer goals that are actually standard soccer goals, so we can buy standard size nets and things of that nature. Our program for soccer is just going great guns, and so we're going to be purchasing some soccer goals, and hopefully every year include that in our capital outlay and continue to build our soccer goals and get rid of the ones that they've been welded together and brought out there. So that's something that Ryan and I talked about on our budget planning starting in October, and we just finalized everything about 2 weeks ago. So we're purchasing a new field drag for the ball fields. The field drag we used came in 2003, my first year that I was here. I came here in 2002 when we opened the ball fields at McPorter Park. We purchased that machine, and for 20 years, we've taken great care of that thing, and it is literally in dust every single day. During the spring, summer, and fall months. So knock on wood, we got great use out of that thing. We plan on replacing the concession stand bathroom building on the north fields of McPorter Park, tearing off the shingles and re-roofing that building. And the big one we think is going to be great, it'll even enhance Lions Park even more, is take out the wood chips. They're ADA certified wood chips, but it's hard for people that have handicaps to use that facility, the playground facility, and we are going to get pour-in-place rubberized surfacing for that. I was down at the national conference in early October, and that was the big thing that most departments, especially the smaller ones, most of the big ones have went to it already, and it was a lot more expensive back then because it was new. They've refined it, made it even more safe, and more smaller communities are doing that. And we're always spending, every other year we spend between $6,000 and $10,000. And I know that sounds like a lot. This is $218,000. But it's going to be level at all times. We won't have the dust going over into the splash park where then you get the slick spots from the dust and things of that nature. It'll be user-friendly to everyone. Seniors, when they're out there, they're not going to have a step down because we're always adding throughout the year in addition to what we buy on the big quantities. So we'll have to tear that out. That would be a fall project after the kids get back to school and do it like that. So this spring, it'll still be the same thing, but it will be a late summer, fall project.
Can we get the scout to do that for a scout project?
Well, no, because it's so deep that we're going to have to get machinery in there. And if we can get the scouts to help, we're going to be towards the end, doing the underneath the equipment to get it out, maybe we can.
But
do
they're
that.
always looking for projects.
Yeah. So.
Can that be used somewhere else in
We're gonna take
parks
it
somewhere?
right out, all the stuff that we can reuse, because after a while it gets compressed and wet and then starts to degrade. Whatever we can use, we're going to take out to Jesse James and put it on there, because it's the same engineered wood fiber chips.
You'll put it at the playground?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yep, at the playground at Jesse James Park.
So what's the life expectancy of this new rubberized flooring?
They're saying about 15 to 20 right now. That's what the manufacturers are saying. So,
So at least 10.
who knows? But we don't need any lawsuits and things of that nature, because we don't have the staff that we can go out there every single solitary day and fluff that up. And so it's level with the concrete to step down. It's just, and it's not, even though it's ADA accessible, if there's a lip, it's really not ADA. So this will it'll be a level surface with the concrete. It'll be nice. Ryan and I, that's why we didn't do that when we first did it, because we wouldn't have gotten hardly any playground equipment. And then to add playground equipment to that, then you have to rip that out to get the equipment down in. So we did it right, even though now this is a big thing. When we built the park, we got as much equipment as we possibly can, and now we can put the surfacing down. We just didn't have enough at the time to do everything we wanted to do. So.
That'll be nice.
And we think can be used by the use tax. That could be funded through use tax. So anyway, that's what we have right now on the proposed budget. We will know, next month, because it will, since we meet on Thursday, the Board of Aldermen, that's a note, we will meet next month on a Thursday as well. So.
Have you also
Because
got a
the-
budget for another full-time employee?
We have one part full-time employee. We have more hours for him, but he will be a part-time employee where we will space him out throughout the season, starting either March or, either April or May. He will not be a full-time. He won't receive any benefits. We have him scheduled for 1,000 hours throughout the entire year. So that will help us. And then our 2 summer employees like we had last year. So we are gaining 1 part-time employee for the parks for this year. But we're going to be taking on a lot more mowing. We will now be responsible for all of the South Campus Trail. That means hauling our mowers to the south part of town, taking care of the pickleball court, and also all of the trail on the South Campus Trail. We will be responsible for the proposed site of the rec center, where that proposed site is, right there at the southwest corner of 33 and 19th Street. That will fall under the park department now. So a lot more mowing for us.
So he's gonna be part-time, but he's gonna work all of his, full-time hours in the summer?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then if there's a rain day, he will not work, because we have to, he was one of our seasonal employees last year.
Mhm.
And when his time was up, he was done. We had no more money in the budget, and we will watch his hours, because we were really short come Jesse James Festival, October, because we got that nice warm weather in October, and the grass started growing again. And so this will help us as much as we possibly can to get through the winter months with him added on. So we'll be advertising for the seasonal positions. Hopefully our other seasonal position that worked with Jeff last year comes back, but we think he will be heading off to the military at that time. So he was a great person. So now we'll have to, that's another thing, it'll slow us down because we've got to train these people. So we could turn those two guys loose and it was go. So, any other questions on item 5? Ryan, you want to add anything?
No.
Okay.
Do you need us to go to the meeting, the Alderman meeting, to sit there as park board or not?
No, it's always an open meeting.
Right.
Dan is our rep to the Board of Aldermen, so naturally he'll be here. Ryan always runs the meetings either from his house or from here, and I'm here at that meeting, at all the Board of Aldermen meetings. So we'll be representative, but if you want to show up, you're more than welcome to.
All right, youth sports.
Rhino.
Yeah, so basketball, we are scheduled, we were scheduled to have our first games for youth basketball. We have about 150 kids, so we're up from last year around 8.5%, which is fantastic. The way it works, we're reliant on the school district to let us use their gyms for practices and games, okay? That's one benefit that a community center will offer us is we control the gyms then. So that's, and that's for more than just basketball, volleyball, and whatever else we can pick up as well. That being said, we practiced the end of November, first, 3 weeks of December, winter break. School comes back in. You're supposed to come back in last week. I think we all know what happened. We were supposed to have our first game on the 13th. Couldn't. We are supposed to have our first game now on the 20th, this Saturday. We'll see. Everyone's been really cool about it. I mean, there's nothing we can do. We'll just keep revising the schedule, and if we have to have a couple of big humdinger days where kids are playing 2 or 3 games, that's what we'll do. So we'll get it figured out. And as far as basketball goes, it's great. Attendance is up. Spring sports signups have already started. They're looking fantastic. Just everything's going great in the rec side. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
All right, fee schedules.
Attached to your packet, last year we went over this, and we need this to be done by you to approve fee schedules for the upcoming season. Ryan and I went over this as we were preparing the budget and finding out of the different things that were coming. Guys, we've got to raise fees. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've raised fees in the youth category as well, but that really, on our youth categories, the referees went up, equipment goes up. We've just got to maintain. On our shelters, we went up $10 last year. No one bats an eye on that. We want to go up another $10 for the shelters at Jesse James Park for 3 hours. The pavilion, a little higher. It's $350 is what we were proposing last year for in-town, was $300, out of town was $400. And that's the only thing that they cannot do online because it's an in-town, out of town. So they have to call and reserve that through us. Reason why we're going up on that, price of toilets is going up, the electricity is going up, everything there. If we didn't have toilets for them to use, the price wouldn't be as high, but there's toilets that we offer for them and free electricity. Most of the other communities where you go, there's no electricity there. Same way down with Lions Park. We haven't raised that, but we'll get to the Lions in a bit. The rodeo, demo derby, one-day event. We usually never have one-day events. We put it in there in case somebody would just want to rent it for a one-day. That was there last year. But the two-day event is, last year it was $550. This year it's $650. The lights out there cost us a fortune. The electricity costs us a fortune. They usually leave the lights on when they get out there, and they're on all day until, well, sometimes they're on during Jesse James Festival 24/7 until we go over there and shut them off ourselves when we're there. That's our proposed. That's a two-day event, so basically $325. They keep all the money. We didn't change our concessions that are down in the bottom. If someone wants to have alcohol, nights have first refusal. We're not collecting any money from any organization that wants to go out there by permission of the person renting the facility. Jay Bettis wants to have his bull ride out there at the end of July again. If he wants the Optimus Club to come out and serve, Ice Ice Baby, whomever, they get to keep all of their proceeds or do a contract with Jay, however they want to work that, but our hands are out of that. And we discussed that in great detail last year, and that's what we came up with, and we're going to keep that the same. Trail events, we usually don't have any trail events except for the school, and political subdivisions don't pay a fee, so the school, we don't charge the school for that, but we put it in there in case someone wants to, so we're covered instead of having to come to you mid-season and say, hey, this is that. Campouts, we used to have the scouts periodically come out there. I think they were out there twice.
I think we had three. I think
Three,
we had
the
two
Klondikes
and a like summer one.
Okay.
Camp.
So we kept that in there because that hasn't, they don't usually
Are
use.
they coming back this year?
No.
No.
So long story short, there's been a change in leadership and they have a different place.
Oh, I thought they liked it out there.
The people that were leading it before did. We never got any complaints or anything, but you know how that goes. Everyone has their preferred areas. So
Or Charlie Brown.
No more.
The amphitheater rental, the electricity to run that equipment out there is ungodly. So we raised that $200. We only had one rental last year, and gosh darn it got rained. I mean, it was a monsoon.
Yeah, it's bad.
And then the additional costs would raise it to the $2,000 because that pays for our time that we have to be out there. And the sound tech. Yeah. Mac Porter Park, we get some people that are renting, and it used to be a lot of out of town, but once we started checking their birth certificate, yeah, we're in town. Well, we check the rosters. Well, they're out of town. Well, they have to pay. And we're not discouraging them from not coming, but it gives the Kearney people that pay taxes able to get more field use, and that's okay. So we raise that $15 per hour, and the lights $10 per hour. The park shelter, we hardly ever have anyone rent the park shelter out at Mac Porter, but it's the same fee as the park shelter at Jesse James. Let's see here. The same way with the trail events as in Jesse James Park. Our pickleball complex, we're going to raise it $5 an hour is our recommendation to you, from 15 to 20. We did not raise the fees for a tournament court rental, but keeping them the same. And we did not have a state or national tournament yet, and that is still the same. And then at Lions Memorial Park, we went up $20. We've never done the increase down at Lions Park yet. This would be the first increase. We don't think people are gonna bat an eye on that because they have so many birthday parties and rentals there. And $15 on the cabanas.
Multiple every single weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything on here for the band, or you
band
calling that
shell.
a cabana?
Cabana?
Yeah, for the band show?
No, the band shell would be the same price as
Yeah.
the regular shell.
Same,
Yeah.
Yeah,
$120?
for a 3-hour time period.
Because they're using electricity. So, and a lot of people, when they go out there, they've got radios on, they've got their grills on. Now we having them keep the grills on, but they come out there with their air machines, their blow machines and things of that nature. And that's great, but we need to make sure that our costs are covered. And
Air
I can just
machines
tell you
for
right
what?
now, pardon me?
Air machines for what?
Like bubble machines and things of that
Oh.
nature.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, it's
I haven't been
pretty
to a kid's
elaborate,
birthday party in a while.
Yeah, I know.
pretty elaborate what they do down there. And
All
that's
right.
fun for the kids.
That's
I mean,
great.
that's great.
Let's go crash some.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
Yeah, they'll have like a karaoke type setup and
Yeah. They'll do karaoke, everything of that nature. So,
Sounds like a good time.
Mhm.
anyway, I do want to tell you, well, before we do that, I would just need any more questions or comments on our proposed fee structure. And if there are none, I would need a motion, a second, and approval if you guys so desire.
Any more comments or questions?
I was just curious on the trails, the
Yep.
fees are the same for McPort and Jesse James. Does that include the full system?
It's the
yeah,
full deal,
it's the whole thing. Yeah.
the whole thing.
We just, there's no,
Yeah, if they say they're gonna run that
90,
quarter,
which
we're
way-
gonna say you can have the
Yeah.
whole,
nah, if you want that
Cross the
quarter, it's another
bridge and-
300.
Yeah.
Block off the bridge.
You can only get a mile, but it's the
That's
same
right.
price, yeah.
I would
Yep.
just like to ask how much money this generated last year with these fees. What are we looking at as far as the income that this generated?
I can,
And if that maintains the same, what would that look like into 2024? Do we have an idea?
So the shelters themselves, I think they rate somewhere around 12 to 13 grand for shelters alone. Ball fields, it's a lot lower, couple grand.
the big thing or the shelters?
The biggest thing's the shelters. Pickleball, so, you know, we were super worried about, people are gonna wanna reserve pickleball all the time. As has turned out, at least the first year with those courts, the atmosphere is just go out and put your paddle in the stack and wait your turn. You know, people, and we've had some reservations,
Mhm.
but not a ton. Every now and then we'll have them. Like if someone wants to have like a gathering of their friends come from out of town or something
And want a guaranteed
and
slot
yeah,
time.
want some guaranteed spots. But generally we have, it's just a really cool atmosphere out there and people just kind of show up and hang out and wait their turn and play. So
Do we need a couple more shelters out of Jesse James?
I don't feel we do right now.
No, so they're not.
Sounds
doing-
like we'd be here.
Yeah, if we could do
Well, I don't have
shelters.
room for them here, I don't think, but we do out
No,
there.
frankly, Lions Park has really ate into the rentals at Jesse James.
Yeah,
Mhm.
To the point where I can tell you, like, our pond and green, what we call our pond shelter, it's right by the pond, and our green space shelter, I think we had combined 4 rentals last year.
oh, that was it?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But they still use the playground one.
The playground ones are pop. I mean, that's birthday party galore. But again, it's not as much as it used to be because there's, different options now, and that park's very attractive for little ones, so.
And they have, those shelters are big where they can have 20 people at a birthday party and everybody's covered. You cannot have a birthday party with 20 people at the shelters
I mean,
in Jesse
we
James
have
Park.
four 8-foot picnic tables out there,
Under each shelter.
under each shelter, so, yeah. I mean, you can get a lot of people under those things.
And 2 under the cabanas.
Honestly, looking for the future, if we're gonna put in a new shelter, I'd like to put one in over at the pickleball courts.
What about beside the basketball court?
I don't know that it would be, If we eventually acquire that last piece of land there and develop that area, all for it.
Absolutely.
Until then, I don't see any, personally.
It'd probably get used, but it probably wouldn't get rented.
Right.
I don't see that these proposals are gonna deter people from renting.
I really don't think they are either,
No.
honestly.
And that's what we,
And the reason I say, sorry, I didn't step on you.
no, go.
The reason I'm saying pickleball, I feel like we got this one patch of land that we're not using. It drives me nuts every time we drive through it. It's on the west side,
Northwest side.
northwest corner there. There's this big cutout that would be perfect for like a 12 by 10 shelter. And, you know, it's separated enough that people, if they wanted just to go out there and do a little picnic or whatever, they could. But, you know, you could also do, you know, I can see that community doing like parties and stuff and birthday parties out there. And boy, you know, that might be a source of revenue for a relatively low initial buy-in for us.
Right.
So, I don't know. So something for the future.
But for this year, that's not in the budget.
No.
Right, no, definitely not. No.
Well, I was thinking as an Alderman down the road.
Yeah. So,
And then my other question and concern, and it was something I think I mentioned before, even the pickleball courts were finalized, was that is there any limitation on these rentals for the tournaments and such like that? Because I'm just concerned that a 501c3 is going to come in here and try and make money off these things somehow, some way, you know, like to just rent them out so often where it kind of depletes residents and our citizens using them.
well, one thing that we noticed, if you try and go back to back, it's not, and we found out through Greg that the tournaments now, if people do that, they go, and it's a website that they go to that all the pickleball players are going to, and a 501c3, unless it's gonna be theirs, that they know that they're gonna just make a bunch of money, are not gonna do that, because these pickleball players check these schedules on tournaments and things of that nature. We had 2 fundraisers out there. One got rained out, but the other one did well. But we control how many tournaments we'll do that, but we're not gonna go back to back with a competing tournament and things like that. We try and space it out because we have weekend people playing, we have our leagues playing out there, and our leagues and things like that.
Honestly, I wouldn't be
That's what I
surprised,
wanted to
I wouldn't be
know.
surprised before too long if we don't have some sort of limited weekend league.
Yep.
That's the direction we're going. People can't get enough of this stuff and we're gonna capitalize on it.
It's great. It's every single night.
But to answer your question, John, honestly, the deterrent is the cost. Most 501c3s gotta be pretty serious to put down. 880 is just the cost to rent it from us. Everything, you know, there's actually putting on the tournament, it's gonna cost them probably at least a couple hundred more. So then you're over $1,000 that you're not sure if it's gonna work even.
And they better
Especially
have
if you're having
someone,
$10 and $15 or $20 signups, you know, you gotta get a significant amount of people to run those tournaments as well. Unless you're really dedicated to it, it's not gonna work.
and you better have someone that's going to be there to run the tournament for you that
Knows what they're doing.
knows what they're doing with pickleball.
The expectation is from the pickleball community is that the tournaments are, if not first class, well run. So.
Is there a reason that the price on the pickleball didn't go up because of electricity, but everything else went up because of electricity?
Yes, and the reason is those are all LED lights. The cost of electricity is much less. We can actually track the cost of electricity
On that.
through an app. It uses far less than the ball field lights. Like,
And they're set at a certain time.
Well,
no
what
matter
did it look
what.
like putting LED lights out at the rodeo arena?
The rodeo arena, some of them are and some of them aren't, but the other aspect of that is all the plug-ins that people come with their, the horses.
Generators and stuff.
Generators and things like that. All those pedestals are being used out there by people, and it just
Yeah.
Does the festival pay for electricity at all when they're out there?
No.
That's the-
That contract was done even before I was here, and then it was redone in, I think, 2008. And basically, it's the same contract. They get use of it for a 2-week period, but usually it's 2
Right.
weekends. You know,
Right.
but
But they don't even have to pay the electric charge?
no,
Mm.
no.
The reason being is the price we got the property for.
Right, correct, I understand that. Right, any more questions or comments? Does anybody have a motion to approve this fee schedule?
I'll make a motion to approve fee schedule as presented.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, any other board comments?
I had just one more thing before we get to board comments. Just to let you know, pickleball complex bathroom is supposed to be weatherproof for the winter. We did have pipes freeze. Naturally, it was 11 to 15 below zero. We were already contacted because there's, we think it will be covered under the warranty by them. I called Mike Mahaffey and he said, I'll get right on it. McConnell and Associates, sorry, I should have said. McConnell and Associates, Mike Mahaffey was our general contractor. I'll get on it. They've already had one of their, the plumbing company that did that came out, took the pictures of what was damaged, and so that's going to be replaced. We've locked the doors, so no one can go in and use the bathrooms right now. It's shut down. The heaters are still going. The chase room was warm. It just got so cold. And so next year when we do that, we will know now if it starts to get, well, in the wintertime, we'll just have an extra space heater in the chase room on those pipes where it won't do that. So, but I thought this was going to be a battle, and Ryan and I were like, Mike took the bull by the horns and got the plumber, and Ray took him out there and showed him all the situation.
Basically the same one. Did we have trouble with the Lions Club Park?
That is not a winterized or a heated
Oh,
bathroom.
it's not.
It's not, so we drain that down.
Gotcha.
We drain that down.
How
Just
about the
like we
one
do the
that,
bathrooms at Mac Porter and the amphitheater, and drain the concession stand down. All that's, and drinking fountains, the irrigation system, all that's all drained down.
how about the one at the north end of the firehouse? Is it?
That is
shut
run, we lock those doors for the winter.
Okay,
But that is controlled by heat from the old firehouse
So they
building
were
itself.
okay.
There's vents in there. Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Well, it
We
happens.
used to leave them open, but those weren't closed doors.
Right,
and
I
people-
remember that, they'd leave them open.
They'd leave them open and prop them open with trash cans, and
We
one
came
day
down
we
to
came out and
a
had a skate
river of
park.
ice.
Had a skate park out in front.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And not to go back, but while he was explaining that to you, I looked up the cost per year on the pickleball lights for last year, and it was $1,200. We're doing far more than that in a 3-month period over the summer at baseball, like way more.
Okay.
So it's definitely, LED lights are a huge blessing for that place.
Yep.
All right, any other board comments? Motion to adjourn the meeting,
I move to adjourn the meeting.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right,
Just remember,
meeting
it's
is adjourned.
it's on a Thursday next month again.